Welcome to Giant Ability TV.
Education is the bedrock of development in any society, and Nigeria is not an exception. Good governance is characterized by the well-crafted and goal-oriented policies that directly or indirectly affect the lives of the citizenry positively. The problem of illiteracy is not as serious and destructive as that of ignorance. Ignorance, as it were, has no regard for either or both formal and informal educational attainments. It is just a disease that only a deliberate and well-calculated action can eradicate. History is the story of past events in relation to human activities. It is a process by which humans are expected to travel back to their past for the purpose of gaining understanding about their present circumstances and with a view of charting a future. History makes it impossible for humans to easily get stuck, for if going forward becomes impossible, returning back should be an available option. The Nigerian government removed history as a subject from its school curriculum in 2009 on the grounds that students were avoiding the subject for lack of employment prospects and lack of enough teachers to teach the subject. As true as these reasons may be, the negative effects of the removal of history from the lives of Nigerians, especially the younger generation, is of monumental damage as it blocks the access for understanding of the origin of people in relation to their cultures and traditions, which are of inestimable value. The opportunity I had of being a student of history and well schooled in the history of Nigeria and West Africa widened my scope and worldview. I cannot imagine how it would have looked like for me as a Nigerian to be ignorant of topics such as the scramble for the partition of Africa, the Fulani Jihad and Usman Dan Fodio, the Mali Empire, Songhai Empire, the transatlantic slave trade, the Nigerian Civil War of 1967 to 1970, and lots more of great events and leaders both within African continent and the international space. This would have left me as a half-baked educated youth who only knows where he is, but ignorant of where he came from and where he is going. The benefits of history, if well harnessed, can help leaders of Nigeria from making avoidable mistakes as well as make the youths to understand the evolution of their country. A sound knowledge of the past is the basis for nationalism and patriotism and the driving force in modern nation building. History creates or reinforces national identity and self-definition. Hence, countries like the United States, United Kingdom, and Japan have the teaching of history as the central plan of their curriculum. Ignorance of history creates a vacuum that misinformation or outright falsehood can explore. These, without gainsaying the fact, account for why Nigerians, especially the youths, have been misinformed and misled negatively and in the wrong directions in matters of choosing the right path to follow, as there are many positive benefits derivable from the knowledge of history and a reason why every well-meaning citizen of a country should be well-grounded in it for the purpose of making informed decisions. So is the probability of a group or groups of people that make up the experiment called Nigeria to block the visibility of these benefits from the youths for their selfish interests on the rise. These considerations of trying to hide some information that are vital from the other groups of Nigerians by a group or groups accounts for the exclusion of history as a subject from Nigerians' school curriculum and as a way of preventing or hindering the younger generations of Nigerians from knowing the origin of each ethnic group that make up Nigeria. The spillover from this action accounts for why most Nigerian youths have no clue about certain historical events in the country, such as the earlier constitutions in the early stages of Nigeria and in the First Republic, and so on. Rather than achieving the major intent of hiding certain information from the youths for the benefits of others, it has created a serious vacuum which the Fulanis are taking advantage of to promote their ethnic cleansing agenda. This is like a cancer which is known as a terminal disease, and anything that has a beginning must have an end. Prominent scholars and concerned citizens have called for the return of history as a subject back to the nation's school curriculum, and with a promise from the government to have it back in 2020, and thus is 2022, and Nigerians are still hoping. Dr. Chris Ngige, the current Minister of Labour and Productivity in Nigeria, while responding to a question in an interview on the agitation going on in the eastern part of the country led by the IPOB, Independent People of Biafra, laments the removal of history from Nigeria's school curriculum and went on to conclude on his thoughts. On a final note, according to Thomas Colliers, our main business is not to see what lies dimly at a distance, but to do what lies clearly at hand. Inasmuch as doing what lies clearly at hand requires both the knowledge of the past and the present, it is therefore not out of place and of necessity to appreciate the truism of the saying that life is understood backwards but must be lived forward. One problem that is associated with making mistakes is to keep on making them. This problem and others is what history is poised to solve if allowed. A wise man admonished us never to fail to instruct our children, for the hopes of the instructed are better than the wealth of the ignorant.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to all our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.